Welcome to the Midwest Game Nerds Podcast. I'm your host, John, and here with me today are Brian and Alex.
Hello.
Today we're talking some game news before we jump into a review of Obsidian's The Outer Worlds. But before we get to all of that, if you want to follow us on social media or see all the places you can listen to or watch the show, check out MidwestGameNerds.com/links. The Midwest Podcast Network now has a Patreon. The Patreon is meant to benefit all the shows on the network. You can subscribe for as little as $1 a month and help keep our shows alive and well. Check it out at mpn.bz/Patreon. Thanks again to Jason K and Gojo for their contributions. And as always, we do appreciate your feedback, which you can send to MidwestGameNerds@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow us on Twitch, as well as rate and review us on your favorite podcatcher. We are Twitch affiliates. You can subscribe to our channel and help throw us a little bit of extra cash if you have it. Failed the Nightfall a bunch or something.
Oh, well, that was kind of a rage quit, too.
Yeah.
I was just super hungry, and we were doing that for probably about an hour longer than I expected. And we tried it many times. Maybe eventually we would have gotten it. We probably would have. But, it was like an hour and 45 minutes. And we probably spent a half hour of that on the boss.
Wow.
Damn.
And... yeah,
that doesn't sound fun. I'm glad I stopped playing that game.
But, well, to be honest, that's literally the hardest thing you can do in that game right now.
Yeah.
Everything else is easier. Like, we did the Nightfall at that level last week, but it was a different one, and it took like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So,
Did you just get screwed by like the
we kind of got screwed
modifiers and
yeah, they have a lot of new mods for like different enemy types. Like, they have these enemies called like barrier or overload or unstoppable enemies now, and you need that type of mod in a gun in order to shut them down. So you have, and the way the Nightfall works is all your loadouts locked like it used to be. At least the high level Nightfalls like that.
so you basically have one weapon with the mod on it or whatever.
Yeah, so you have to coordinate because, I mean, more likely than not, you're not going to be able to slot all three of those. Like, those mods don't work in heavy weapons, or power weapons. So you're kind of you have to decide who's going to carry what.
Yeah.
And that specific Nightfall had a shit ton of overload enemies, and we were not prepared for that. Like, I think Zach was the only person that could deal with them.
Sounds about right.
So it took us like forever to get through all those champions, is what they're called. But it's cool. It adds like a different tactical element to the game.
A little more coordination.
Yeah. But beyond that, like, they started the Halloween event, and with that they kind of sprang a like public event on everyone that was not in like the patch notes before the Halloween event started. So that was kind of cool, and it drops like a few unique weapons.
Was that dungeon you guys are doing?
That's part of that update, but it has basically that public event exists because you have to do it in order to unlock the dungeon.
Okay.
But then you can keep going back to that event and doing it. It's a good way to get like the 3 new weapons and other shit.
That's cool.
But yeah, we did do the dungeon. We finished it pretty quick, honestly. I did it with Zach and another guy, and that was That was really fun. It's pretty well designed. It's not quite as good as the last one, but it's cool. Like a dungeon's basically in between a raid and a strike.
Yeah.
It's like you're probably going to spend, at least the first time, you're going to spend like an hour and a half doing it maybe.
Interesting.
Any time after that, probably less, but it's definitely longer than like 15, 20 minutes.
Okay.
And there's multiple bosses in it with like a little puzzle element and stuff like that. So that was fun. I did play Apex Legends a bit. Not too long, but I wanted to try out the Halloween event that they had actually. And it's like
Shadowfall.
Yeah, I think it's called Shadowfall.
Yeah.
It has not Shadowkeep.
Not Shadowkeep, but
There's a lot of
Shadowfall.
shadow stuff out right now.
Yeah.
Shadows are Halloweeny.
Yes, exactly. But basically, well, I don't know if you guys know, but Apex Legends, just like Fortnite, has a new map now.
Mm-hmm.
So if you play the regular mode of Apex Legends, it's the new map. But then this Halloween event takes place on the original map, but at night. And it's
So it's spooky.
solo queue only. Like you don't play with two other people like normal. You drop in, and your goal is to be in the last 10 survivors.
Mm-hmm.
But if you die before that point, you come back as a zombie.
Okay.
And a really fast zombie. And you only have like a melee attack, and that's it. And you die super easy. You can see all the like regular combatants that are left. It's like an infrared vision kind of thing.
Okay. And if you survive to the last 10, don't you have to like escape?
Yeah,
too?
it's like the end of an old school
like Left 4
Titanfall.
Dead or
Well, Titanfall, at the end of every match, you would have to escape if you're on the losing side.
oh,
And you
interesting.
get like extra points for that. So it's basically like that. But if you escape, it counts your side as winning. If
Okay.
anybody escapes.
Yeah.
If everyone gets eliminated, then the zombies win.
Hmm.
And if you die as a zombie, you actually come back again.
Interesting.
And you just keep coming back.
That's cool.
It's pretty fun. It was terrifying, honestly, because like the sound effects are super cool, and like the zombies are so damn fast.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. And I also tried the Rainbow Six Halloween event, which is really awesome, but I'm fucking terrible at it. And so
Me
I
too.
was like really mad about it.
Yeah, we were pretty like we all like Alex Gladish and I played after you quit. So
Yeah.
we did a couple rounds of that. It's just like it's Van Helsing meets Rainbow Six hide and seek
Yeah.
is what it is.
Well, my rage quitting on that was partially me still being mad about the Nightfall earlier in the evening and being really shitty at that Halloween event, and then using the rest of my Rainbow money to buy Halloween packs and just getting weapon skins. That's what pushed me over the edge. I was like,
That
I'm
was the
done
last
playing
straw.
for the night.
I used up a bunch of my renown in order to get some.
I didn't have enough.
Hmm.
I had just used it for something else. But yeah, that event's awesome.
It's really
Like,
cool. It's like a fun idea to like
Yeah.
give you like, you know, regenerating gadgets to use and to try and get away. But I feel like it's I don't know. I feel like it's slanted towards the actual like the people that are trying to hunt down the defenders.
attackers, yeah.
But I'm also really bad no matter what side I'm on, so it can't be that slanted.
There's
So
Gladish had one round where he hid under the desk in one of the rooms.
yeah.
yeah.
And like they couldn't find him. Like it just worked out, you know,
Yep.
like but yeah, it definitely was. It's a fun event, and the skins that you can get for the characters were really cool.
Oh, they're super
Especially
cool.
Capkins was like the shit because he's basically death,
Yeah.
which is cool. But yeah, overall, like it's a fun event. I think it's still going on for another day or two.
I think
not
so,
100% sure though. But anything else? Play anything else? No, nobody.
So I played two things. One of them is What the Golf, which is available through the Epic Store on PC, but it's also an Apple Arcade game, which is where I played it. That game is really charming. It's a lot of fun. It's not your typical golf game, which is what's fun about it. So I don't really want to give anything away, but check that out if you want something fun to just kind of play through and not take very seriously. And And then I've also been playing, in addition to The Outer Worlds, I started The Outer Wilds, which is the game that came out on Game Pass quite a while ago, and it just recently made it to PlayStation 4. But it's this interesting time looping game where you have like basically 22 minutes to hop into your spaceship and try to make it to the other planets in the solar system and to gather clues about things that are going on, and then it basically just kind of like a supernova happens or something and you start back over, but your information is persistent, so every time you learn something it gets added to a map, and you can kind of keep charting your way through these like information branches in order to learn more about why you're caught in like a time loop. So I've only played a little bit of it, but it's a very cool game. A lot of thought put into everything about it, and I'm excited to play more. So
Cool.
yeah.
I haven't played anything else. I stopped playing Breakpoint because everyone made me not like the game anymore. But there are games that I want to play. I've been hearing a lot of good things about Disco Elysium,
Yeah,
me too.
I'm very interested in that game.
which is kind of crazy because it's an RPG with like zero combat.
that
Yeah.
sounds appealing to me. Honestly, I've spent very little time in combat in Outer Worlds. It's fun just talking to people and manipulating them through speech.
Yeah. But I mean, the
So-
combat.
It is-
We'll
get to that,
we'll get
but
into our outer.
I
Outer Worlds
enjoy
review.
conversing in RPGs a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's what Disco Elysium is essentially. Like, it's a game where like you have different abilities, like all of the traditional RPG tropes of like charisma and intelligence and strength and whatever, wisdom, dexterity are all like expanded into additional, much wider categories of like traits. So you end up putting points into those, and like you can manipulate things differently, and it's all like you're a detective in like I think it's like post-apocalyptic or something of some sort. I'm not 100% sure on that. I still need to look into it more, but I've heard so many good things about that game being amazing, so I want to check that out.
Yeah.
And Luigi's Mansion just came out too. I want to get that.
Yeah, it did. I never played the first Luigi's Mansion. I played the one that came out on the 3DS, which was Luigi's Mansion 2 Dark Moon or something like that. Didn't quite hook me just because there wasn't quite enough there for me.
Yeah.
But I have not seen much of the third one to know if they've done anything different.
I've
But-
heard good things though.
Yeah, me
So,
too. Me too.
Anyways, yeah, let's hit some news real quick.
News time. There we go. News. We'll start with you, John.
So yeah, Ghost Recon Breakpoint is going to get an overhaul. This came in addition to Ubisoft announcing that they're going to delay a bunch of their games, specifically Watch Dogs Legion and what was it, Gods and Monsters or whatever. Yeah, that game's getting a delay.
They did their earnings call. They basically said that the Division 2 and Breakpoint were both underperforming what their projections were.
So they're going to do more to make their games unique and better. And part of the overhaul for Breakpoint is they're going to look in. They're going to expand on some of the survival elements because players wanted more of that. They wanted. They're looking at adding AI companions again because that was something people really liked from Wildlands. So they want to bring that back in. On top of the loot system, it looks like they're going to overhaul that as well because that seems to be the main thing people are upset about is the loot system. So it'll be, if Wildlands is any indication, because that game was also fairly broken when it came out, they will eventually get Breakpoint to be a really solid game down the line. It's just going to take a while, which they said in this IGN article that we're looking at too. So
I'll revisit it then.
One of the things that they mentioned in that earnings call was that they feel like they learned from the Division 2 and Breakpoint that maybe people wanted more distance between these marquee releases, which is funny because Rainbow Six Siege came out in 2015 or whatever, and they gave that a little more time to breathe. And it's not like Wildlands didn't have 2 or 3 years of DLC or whatever. But the Division 1 to Division 2 was a shorter hop.
Like one of the things I don't really understand. I mean, I get if you're making like drastic changes to mechanics in general, like the specializations and things in the Division 2 and how some of that game played out were very different from the Division 1, which makes sense that they want to overhaul it into it being a whole new game. But when you have games that are these persistent, like growing games as a service, I feel like it just needs, like, don't make a sequel, like just keep building on what you have. They could have built some of that stuff into the Division 1 more, down the line, and then expanded into being Washington, D.C., and have it be like a $40, $50 expansion. I'm sure like the Division 1 also didn't have a huge audience. I don't really know. I don't pay too much attention to it, but
I think it grew over time.
It did. It had a huge launch, and then a ton of people dropped off, and then much like Destiny, like people kind of trickled back in as the game became more and more fixed. And they were releasing more of the DLC and the expansions and everything. And I think, I'm just, again, it's the idea of like, well, okay, what happens when Destiny 3 comes out? Like, you already have this built universe. Like, are you just going to scrap everything and whatever? Or, like, when is the Division 3 going to, like, basically negate everything I've already done? But you've built these persistent worlds where players want to have characters that can carry over through. You've created massively multiplayer online games that are essentially like role-playing games, much like WoW, where World of Warcraft has expanded to the point where they just keep adding shit to the game instead of like, it's not like there's a World of Warcraft 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 at this point. Like, people want to keep building on the same character and narrative. So stop. Why are companies continuing to stop them from doing that, I guess?
It's kind of strange. Like, I wonder if they're just scared of the idea. Like, what if year 2 of the Division 2 cost you $60, but it was big? Like, what if there were more places to go? Like, what if...
I mean, maybe that's part of it, is the understanding is like, because it's still called the Division 2, people are like, oh, it's not a new game. It's more of the same old bullshit, and people are looking for something new.
Maybe that might be, and that there's something, the video games journalists or video game media have not found the greatest way to like touch on these live games, because obviously when something first comes out, they talk about it, they review it, and then it's not like you have somebody, there aren't a lot of people coming back and being like, hey, Rainbow Six Siege Ember Rise, here's what's going on, and this is what's great, this is what isn't. Like, there's not that like constant evaluation. It takes that new release to get like that infusion of press or whatever to come and check it out again and actually talk about it. So it's weird. They're in this weird realm of like, World of Warcraft, when Wrath of the Lich King comes out, everybody, like, people talk about it. But like when the Division 2 year 2 comes out with the first thing, it's not like there's a lot of people reporting on it. And maybe that's because there's not a huge audience there. I don't know.
Right.
But it feels like these live service games have not done a great job of figuring out how to strike that balance between when is a sequel necessary and when can we just continue building. Like Destiny 1 to Destiny 2 was supposedly this big technological overhaul that needed to happen, right?
Yeah, I'm still waiting for them to just bring all of Destiny 1's content into Destiny 2 and just call it Destiny and be done with it. Because that's ideally like they could do that, and you'd watch their player base skyrocket. Even like it already has skyrocketed, being released as like a free to play game now, but
yeah.
I feel like you bring in this old content, you're going to bring back all of those old players who gave up on it after Destiny 1, and they'll come back because they can now play it on PC and whatever, but yeah, I think your point of like when does the game as a service like warrant a sequel or whatever is a valid criticism.
Or even like, what's the best way to make it so that works? Like, what if year 1 is $30 and year 2 is $60? and it just kind of like goes on and off of that. Like I think there's room for experimentation, and I don't know how much they're really trying that, other than being like, all right, well, time for another $60 package that has to go out.
And I mean,
So-
it could also just be something along the lines of like their shareholders want to know how many new releases are being put out every year, and so they make a sequel that counts as a new release or whatever. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that's the downside of having to appeal to your board and shareholders, I guess.
true.
So,
Who
anyways, I'm looking forward to seeing the changes come to Breakpoint because I like the game kind of. I don't know how to put it
Glowing
otherwise.
endorsement.
I mean, I was real big on it, and then everybody else made me feel dumb. So,
Don't feel dumb. Like what you like.
Stick to your guns.
Yep.
Your tiered
but
loot
it's
guns.
that's the thing is like it's like
You're-
having the wool pulled away from your eyes. You know what I mean?
Well,
like
to some
you-
degree, maybe, but I think
Like I go into the game blind and I'm having a good time, and then everybody else is like, yeah, but there's all these problems that like you somehow like completely missed, and then I go back to playing the game and I'm like, wow, there are a lot of problems with this, and now I see everything. You know, I've put on the glasses from that fucking movie with Roddy Piper or whatever.
they live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I put on the glasses and I see all the zombies,
There you go. Yeah, I'm
Aliens,
sorry.
but whatever.
aliens. Yeah.
I'm sorry that we ruined the game for you, but
It wasn't just you guys too,
No.
though. A lot of it was the subreddit was just a cesspool of fucking nonsense, and all
Well,
of those people
That's how
should
most
just
subreddits are.
they should all just overdose on caffeine pills. So
they're working on it.
man, there's something wrong with all those people.
Yeah.
Anyways, next news bit. Let's
Yep.
talk about it.
Brian,
Yeah. What's up?
this one's yours.
Oh yeah. So for the first time since 2013, you'll be able to buy EA games on Steam, starting with some new ones. Starting with Jedi Fallen Order, I believe.
Yep.
The imagery of the Origin logo going down the toilet is really funny.
That's good. This Ars
It
Technica article
actually
did a
fits
good job.
perfectly. Yeah, I guess they've kind of realized that people are not willing to use Origin to buy their stuff. A lot of people are not.
Yeah, 'cause none of this
they're
shit goes
finally
on
going
sale.
to allow their games through Steam again, and eventually, like, it's just going to be a certain few at first, and then it's going to expand, and eventually you will actually be able to get the Origin subscription service, I believe, through there as well, like Origin Premier and Origin Access.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Some people were wondering if this was also Steam kind of being like, hey, like you have to imagine EA was like, should we go to Epic or should we go to Valve? And maybe
Yeah,
both of them
possibly.
were like battling over this to
Well-
kind of be like, how do we get them to come here? And I have to imagine like it's pretty big for Steam to be like, hey, we will support your subscription service
Yeah.
on our service within a service kind of thing. And I wonder if it'll open up the door for something like Uplay and all these other subscription services that we see coming up.
I mean, Ubisoft still like offers their stuff through Steam, which is nice
yes.
for the most part, except for the Division 2. And
But
Yeah.
will they have that? Will we get to a point where they have their services integrating through Steam as well, like
I don't know.
like Origin is apparently going to do? But
yeah, this could be big. I mean, it's basically like they're kind of allying against Epic in a way.
yeah, like I the craziest thing about it to me is that they would be not giving up, because Origin is still going to be a thing. You
Yeah.
could still go directly to them to get their games if you would like, but in this time where we have Steam and the Epic Game Store and these other services popping up, it's weird to see one of them kind of be like, all right, well, it didn't work out, but they were like one of the first ones to try and spin out and do their own stuff anyway. So
Yeah.
I'm interested to see when Epic has like their summer sale and winter sale, like how many of those games I can buy for under $10 and never play.
they'll get there.
Yeah.
They'll
I
certainly
already
get
have a
there.
large library of free games I'll probably never play.
Yeah, I've been downloading the ones that actually look like I care about them.
Yeah,
There's
but-
a lot of them that are good that I really should play.
Yeah,
but
like when they had
whatever.
the Metro games up or whatever.
Yeah. Subnautica, I've heard good things about.
Yeah.
Yep.
Lots of
And-
good. That I think is a Continuum or something like that. It was like some survival horror, first person something or other. It looked really cool. I downloaded that too, but haven't played it. Just like
All the other Steam
90% of my Steam games. Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah. No, but it's an interesting move. I'm
Yeah.
interested to see what else it brings in this store. But I don't know where I'm going to buy Jedi Fallen Order, but I'm going to buy it somewhere. I can't.
That's one thing I've been wondering about. I haven't seen anywhere that says it is actually available through Origin Premier. Like, have you, John?
I haven't been paying attention
Because
to
I
it.
was kind of banking on the fact that I'd just be able to play it for free. Because I have that through, like,
right.
January or February, and I don't really want to continue it, I don't think, after that.
So we're on the Origin Access website here. And
If it's not on there, then I'm
You
canceling.
do get a
Origin.
discount.
it does not look like they have any verbiage on here showing that you'll. So, Premier
It
Games
seems like bullshit to me. Because I was kind of under the impression that all of their first-party new games would be...
Well, Battlefront 2 was on there when it was.
Yeah. Battlefield 5, Anthem, like everything that's come out new has been on there.
But no, that's interesting. Like even the free trials or whatever. But yeah, I guess we'll see. Yeah. Anything else about Origin?
Not really.
All right. I somehow got the task of bringing up BlizzCon news. So
Because
BlizzCon,
you care the least. We thought you should talk about it.
yeah, because I couldn't think of anything else that I really cared about. We got a new Hearthstone expansion called The Descent of Dragons. There's a new World of Warcraft expansion called Shadowlands that got revealed as well. The Overwatch 2 rumors have been confirmed. It looks like Overwatch 2 will be coming out. There were some interesting things about like character progression that I think are happening with Overwatch 2, and I think there's also like PvE as well as
Yeah.
PvP.
Yes.
So
There's a single-player mode
yeah. So it sounds like they
and a cooperative mode, I think.
they're trying to do more with Overwatch, which is pretty cool. Like I think that's one where it makes sense, like the fact that they're adding in PvE or single player. That makes sense that it would be Overwatch 2 and not just like,
Well, over the years they've done these like free movies about each character.
yeah.
And they're pretty involved sometimes and interesting. And so they've done a good job building up that world, but it's like you never really experience it via gameplay at all.
Yeah.
Because you're just playing against other players with no story whatsoever.
To interrupt real quick here, on the Jedi Fallen Order website, it says it is included with Origin Premier.
Hell yeah.
Interesting. Maybe they're just not advertising it so that people do go and buy it and
Just
stuff.
buy it, yeah. But it is like the second line after the description of the game on the main website
Okay,
for
good.
Fallen Order.
Okay. Well, I might have to pay another $15 for that.
I mean, I just
'cause-
want a game that makes it worth my investment in that.
For sure.
Because
I got
Anthem
enough
didn't
out of,
count.
I got enough out of Anthem that I got like 50, 60 bucks worth out of Anthem.
I guess I got my money's worth between that and Battlefield, and I did play Sims 4 quite a bit, and some other random things that still cost a decent amount of money. But
I did fire up Anthem for a half second because the Halloween shit, like the armor sets,
The
were
armors are
fucking
really cool,
sweet.
they're
yeah.
Mass Effect armor, right?
Yeah, but the game would not run. I was getting like 20 frames a second. There was like a fog, like they had like a green fog throughout the whole. Like
Volumetric fog will kill your
it
frame rate.
fucking
Yeah, well,
destroyed
They
it.
still haven't
man.
fixed that
It just
problem
made it.
over the years.
It made it unplayable. I couldn't even walk through like the fucking first person What's the land called?
It's a great
the
question,
city.
John. I don't know.
The city that you go to. I can't remember.
TARDIS.
TARDIS.
Well,
No.
the
No.
well-decorated.
That's from Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyways, doesn't matter. Fallen Order will be available for Premier members. I had to figure that out. So,
Hey, Black Space Mirror. Thanks for watching. But, yeah. So, Yeah, I don't know why you guys bought a year of that.
Because I don't know.
I was
man.
expecting
it
Anthem
was,
to
you
like
get a
not be
discount.
shit.
I get
so-
it. But what if you just paid $15 and then you found out if you liked the game and then you buy your year of it?
Well, it was $100 for a year versus $15 a month, so I was like, yeah, whatever.
But you could do 15 for a month and then 100 for the year after that.
True, but then that would be 115.
True.
That's okay.
There are other games that I was looking forward
Yeah.
to
I
playing,
get it.
and like
No,
they've
it
got
makes
the
sense.
Vault, which has a bunch of shit in it that you could play too. I
But
mean,
have you played any of it?
I haven't had time is part
Yeah.
of the problem. So this and even with like Ubisoft and like Uplay Plus, like these subscription services are beneficial to some extent because instead of me spending $60 on one game, I am then getting 4 months worth of gaming.
Whatever games
of whatever
are coming.
whatever I want to play, whatever comes out.
I get it.
Kind of makes sense for someone like me, I think, until I actually settle down and find like my game, you
Yeah.
know? If that ever happens, I don't fucking know. I probably never will, but I'll just go back to playing Skyrim again.
There you go.
But yeah, like that it works for someone I think in our shoes too that
It's nice for us who want to be up on the latest games.
yeah, we get to
be
play
able
them and
hop in.
we don't have to shell out $60 every time to be up front, and have like the latest most current shit to play, so
Yeah.
I don't feel bad if I install a game and play it for an hour or two and don't like it.
Yeah, that's
which
fair.
is nice.
The other worst kept secret of BlizzCon, Diablo 4, was also
Yes.
confirmed. They had a cool announcement cinematic that I have not watched, but
it is very cool and
Yeah.
very dark.
they always do a very good job with those. But yeah, it sounds like there's still a lot of protesting stuff going on. I know some kid who was asking a question during a Q&A at BlizzCon that was being streamed, like yelled out "Free Hong Kong" in the middle of his question in order to protest in the middle of their presentation. But it sounds like most of the nerds have forgiven him. Diablo 4 is coming. So,
yeah, so
rejoice.
who cares about Hong Kong now, right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. We have Diablo
we
to
have
play.
Diablo 4. Fuck democracy.
But no,
We're not a
it's-
political podcast.
The shittiest thing about it is that there's a lot of people at Blizzard pouring their hearts into these games and things, and Blizzard's just fucking squandering all of their goodwill with the boneheaded moves that they make about this shit. But, good on them for making Diablo 4, I suppose. And,
But that one dude with gross hair apologized.
sure.
With gross hair.
But did they say when Diablo 4 is actually, when any of the stuff is actually launched?
not
know
at
who you're
all. They said
talking
it.
about.
They said the terminology they used was "it is a way off."
Okay.
So
We're showing this to you because we need you to love us again.
we need. It's like when your angry ex-girlfriend like sends you like a nude and just to get you back enticed so you're not mad at her anymore.
That's never happened to me, John.
It's never happened to me either, but I
Yeah.
assume that's kind of like
It sounds like something I would see in a movie.
yeah,
Yeah, that's fair.
it'd be in like some form of American Pie 12 or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
How many pies are they gonna fuck?
Was that the tagline for that one?
Yeah,
Yeah, American Pie 12. How many can they fuck?
at least 12.
12 pies. Anyways,
Was there an Overwatch 2 release date either? Do you know?
No, I don't think so.
Because I Google searched it and Google said May 24th, 2016, which is not the release date of Overwatch 2. So,
I just saw a bunch of people who were like, "Oh, Overwatch 2, cool."
Blizzard doesn't do release dates unless it's a WoW expansion.
yeah, that's
They're
fair.
like, when it's done.
Keep your subscription going for another
Yeah.
12 months. But no, cool. They're making video games. These graphics
the
are very
cinematics
pretty.
cool, looks great.
The graphics look good too.
What graphics? This is
no,
all
they're-
pre-rendered
you can
nonsense.
you can see gameplay.
There's gameplay here,
footage.
too.
Show me gameplay footage
There you go.
because it's playing on some system that has like 64 gigabytes of RAM and like two 2080 Ti's. Like,
I don't understand this part. It's not like real gameplay. If you go forward a little more, that's not even. It looks like Diablo,
It looks a lot like Diablo. That's cool.
but it's very old school.
That dude just turned into a bear.
That's
I'm
kinda
sold.
rad.
All right,
That-
where can I pre-order?
How did they get Zach in
Yeah,
the
you
game?
can get you're apparently going to be able to have mounts.
Nick, you can turn into a bear in this game.
If I'll be honest with you, if they made like a Diablo online that was like World of Warcraft but Diablo based, I would probably play that.
From what it sounds like, it's going to be more like the Destiny model, actually, where it's going to be fairly open, like where you go and non-linear, instead of like the 4 or 5 act progression that they used to have with the zones. It's going to be more like an open world map with dungeons and stuff that you can find.
Yeah, but can I play this on my MacBook Pro?
Probably.
It'll run like shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. Blizzard games run really well on older hardware.
Maybe they'll make you a.
Zach said Blizzard knew how much I rely on bears.
Maybe they'll make an ultra low setting for your MacBook that you can play on.
Yeah, no,
But
I'm not interested. I mean, I'm interested in the game. I'm not interested in playing it on my MacBook Pro. That's for sure.
I'm very interested. Like I did not have a problem with the style of Diablo 3. I think it looks awesome, but it definitely, the tone of it was definitely more lighthearted than the old ones.
yeah,
And I'm looking forward to them going back to that real
Like a
dark,
darker.
gritty feel.
yeah. I don't know that Diablo 4 will hook me any more than Diablo 3 hasn't already, but it's cool. Diablo's one of those franchises where I'm kind of like, I'm glad to know that it's out there, that it's still good and people enjoy
Yeah.
it.
I mean,
so
I
many
loved
years
the
later.
first one. I never really had a good opportunity to play the second one.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed playing the third one, but don't know why. Like, I can't pinpoint what didn't sink
What's
its
not
teeth.
working.
Yeah, like
Yeah. I'm the
I don't
same
know what
way.
it was. I
Yep.
think it may have been because I was trying to play it more co-op with other people, and they had already like had time to blow through the whole game, and then were trying to help me like go
Yeah.
through it quickly, and
Yeah.
that just kind of because I like the lore of
It removed some of the
Diablo.
challenge
So,
for you.
yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know.
I find with Diablo, it's best to play through the campaign once on your own and
Plus,
then play.
I
with
don't. I
other
really
players.
liked the procedural dungeons in the first one.
Yeah.
That's gone now,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
No.
I don't know
There's-
enough about Diablo.
I don't
But-
feel
I don't
like
know.
any of my playthroughs that I have done of Diablo 3 had any bit of procedural dungeonness to them as much. And it may have just been because a lot of at least the overworld areas are more open than they are like dungeony.
Well,
you
the
know? I
the
don't know.
original
It's
one,
hard
if
to
I remember
explain.
correctly, would change the order of things.
It changed your mission structure, and it would change
Yeah.
like the actual dungeon
It,
layout.
it didn't do that in 3, but the layouts did change.
Procedural Dungeness crabs. are
Zach
my
would know for
favorite
sure. He's played way
type of
more than
crab.
me. If you want to ask him.
Procedural dungeness crafts.
Yeah. They all look the same,
That's a good band name.
or they all look different.
All right.
Anyways, let's
move
talk
on
about
to what we really want to talk
Let's talk about The Outer Worlds. The Outer Worlds is an action role-playing game developed by Obsidian Entertainment and published by Private Division. The game was released for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Microsoft Windows on October 25th, 2019, and a Nintendo Switch version will be released in 2020.
Yes.
I stole that from the Wikipedia page.
Nice.
This is the most stable Bethesda game I've ever played in my entire life.
Right?
It is astounding. I mean, I've had like one or two small bugs, but this game is astoundingly stable.
But it's not a Bethesda game.
I know. It's a joke, man.
Okay.
A bad one. Poor delivery on my part. Sorry. I don't have any necessarily negative things to say about this game other than it just again, it's a game it hasn't really sunk its hooks into me necessarily, its teeth. Like I'm not really feeling that like urgency to play it other than I wanted to play a lot of it for the podcast.
Yeah.
The art style is really cool. The music is fucking great. When you level up, it is the most
Yeah.
epic fucking orchestral burst that blows into the
I
speakers.
hate it so much.
You hate it,
Do
really?
you know why?
Why?
Because it's the Access Hollywood jingle.
Oh, jeez. Really?
Boo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
I didn't even. I'll have to.
If you sped it up just a little bit, it is exactly the Access Hollywood
I'm gonna have to
jingle.
level up some more.
And the
to hear
first time I heard it, I was like, "Is that fucking Access Hollywood going on right? What is this?" And it just ruined it for me. But other than that,
After the podcast, we should bring up a
I might be
side-by-side
wrong. Maybe I'm
comparison.
not remembering the
Mario Lopez like jump in and like announce your level up or what? Like,
Yeah, I'll get the Mario Lopez DLC for the Outer Worlds. But
yeah.
sorry to
you're good.
derail your train.
Totally worthwhile. Yeah, I mean the music is cool other than Access Hollywood, and it has a really cool graphical look to it. The coloring is like this oddly saturated but not overly, like, I don't know how to explain the color scheme of things, but it's very interesting and
Vibrant.
cool. Vibrant.
Mm-hmm.
The modeling of the characters is unique and cool. The voice acting is great. The game shares a lot of parallels with Serenity and Firefly that I love.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, Parvati, the character, is literally
Kaylee,
Kaylee to a T, and she's acted to perfection by whoever is playing her in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Adorable interactions between all characters and everything. The bits where I've picked up like every companion you can get so far. Like I have 6 companions that I can choose from.
Oh wow.
And your interactions as a character with them are super interesting and help build your crew, which is really cool. But it's essentially just Fallout in space is what it is, and it's done very well, but it's very stripped down. You're not getting all kinds of crazy weapons and building them out all weird with crazy ass mods. Everything is very low key. You can put a different scope on your assault rifle, and you can put a different magazine that gives you, electricity or plasma style ammo or poison ammo, or you can swap out the barrel to put on like a silencer or something that keeps your shot from spreading as much. Like it is a very scaled down set of systems from Fallout and
4.
Other Bethesda games, Skyrim, Elder Scrolls. In that sense, but I do find it interesting the way the the attribute system works. As you're leveling up, you get 10 points that you can spread across all your different attributes, and before you hit 50, like level 50 on each of those attributes, you can only do blanket attributes for them. So like your tech tree, which handles like hacking and science and medical, you add points to that, and once you hit 50 points in that skill tree, it unlocks each of those hacking, science, and medical into individual attributes, which you can then add individual points to specialize your character even more. I think that's super interesting.
It makes it easier to like generalize across the board and then like pick actual specialization.
Right. I think it kind of expedited my progression through the game in a way, because I was putting a bunch of points into like different stuff, but I was able to unlock. I haven't yet run into a door or a lockbox or anything that I can't lockpick, and I can hack every computer that I come across. There's been a few dialogue tree things that I haven't been able to touch because I wasn't like high enough for persuasion and things like that. But it's just a really interesting way to handle these RPG elements.
Mm-hmm.
And the only other thing, like I think the gun, like I think the guns are kind of boring, but not. I don't like games where there's so many different guns to choose from that I can't find a gun that I like. At this point, like I feel like there's so few guns I haven't found one that I like necessarily. So
I haven't gotten any science weapons yet. Have you gotten a science
like
weapon?
plasma guns and shit like that? Is that what the science weapons are?
The ones that there's a quest to hunt them down.
No, I
There's
haven't.
like very specialized weapons called science weapons.
I picked up one, and it's a shrink ray.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
So-
have the shrink ray. That is
Okay.
okay. Yeah.
That's unique. I mean, not unique in the scope of video games,
Well,
but
and it's also kind of gimmicky. I think what John's trying to say is there's not like a general weapon. Like this is my everyday, my daily driver. As opposed to,
I find myself using the assault rifle on the regular. Like I have an assault rifle Mark II that I really like. I also have a tactical shotgun that I really like, but they're very basic. Like there are no frills. The combat in general is like fun, especially because you're not using VATS anymore, but you do have like a time slowdown.
tactical time delay.
Yeah, tactical time dilation or delay or whatever the hell they call it.
dilation.
And that's cool because it makes you feel like you're like, if you switch it on and off and do actions really quickly, if you feel like you're doing this crazy John Wick style shit through a sequence, and it's kind of fun, especially if you're surrounded by a bunch of enemies and stuff like that.
It's also cool because you can turn it on and just sit. If you don't shoot anything, if you don't like move, it gives you a moment to sit there and think and plot out, rather than, because it is a meter that you have, and when you start shooting or moving and doing actions during the time dilation, it pulls the meter down. But if you just turn it on and want to kind of like analyze the situation and take a look around and see where people are and who you should attack, you can totally do that, which is really
it's like
neat.
super hot put into a normal video game.
Absolutely.
Which is really cool. And that's also how the once you find the cloaking system for going into restricted areas also works a similar way. Yeah, so like when you walk into a restricted area, you become cloaked. And as you move through the area, the meter goes down.
Yep.
And if you stop to like take an action, i.e. hack a computer, open a lockbox, whatever, the meter doesn't move until you start moving again. Like that's a really cool element of this game. And I mean, honestly, like the humor in this game is like fucking on point. Like it's super well done, like really funny. I found myself laughing out loud at various points in the game.
I have for sure.
Yeah, I'm wearing headphones sitting upstairs by myself, like playing this game, and I just start giggling like an idiot because it's something funny happened, through dialogue. Like, and you're given a ton of different dialogue choices for most interactions with people, especially important characters, where you're given the option of like either killing them outright, or you can make them, partner up with somebody else that you're like working on a mission for or whatever, or you can go a whole different route. There's usually like a few different ways to do everything. So it's a very, very well put together game that, again, I can't say what about it, but it doesn't quite hook me yet. And I don't know if that's just, I'm saying that now, but I guarantee like, give me another 50 hours of this game and I'll be like, this game's fucking great, like hands down. And it is a very well put together game. I think anybody who has Game Pass will enjoy it. And if you feel like, if you like Fallout or you like Skyrim and you want another explorative, RPG game with really well done systems, like this is that. I don't know. What do you guys think? I feel like I just spilled all the beans.
Brian, you should say some words before I do, if you'd like.
I mean, in addition to Fallout, there's definitely elements that remind me of other games, like Mass Effect, for instance.
Yeah, the character and
the whole having your own ship and
mm-hmm.
picking up the characters and having two of them with you and being able to give them little commands and stuff. It's not as involved as like Mass Effect, where you can literally make them do like use their whole skill tree. But
you do get
they
like
do have their
skills
own,
that improve based off of what their specialization is, basically, as well. If you put more points into your leadership, per skill, but
there's a lot of there's a lot of variety with what you can do with leveling up your party members. I noticed, like, I usually put perk points into things that will help my character directly, like giving me plus 10 to hacking or whatever.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But it's cool. They all have their own backstories, and they all, I believe, have their own basically like loyalty quests.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. And I like the fact that the game is divided up into various like space stations and planets and stuff that you can visit, instead of just being one large open
wasteland.
Map. Yeah. That probably helps in the fact, like, cutting down on the amount of bugs, because it's probably way easier to polish the game when everything's broken up into various hubs like that.
I think it really helps with the open world ADD too. Yeah. To have this, like, oh, this is the area I'm in right now. I'm going to try and accomplish all of the things that happen in this particular area. And like, as you're walking around and you move to another town in the area, you find 15 more missions to go on in this one area. And maybe one or two of them send you out to other planets, but you don't have to tackle those until you actually have to be forced to go to that planet to progress the story forward. Like,
yeah, I've been trying to just focus on everything I can in one geographic area before moving on. Like, I was in that space station forever doing random things.
Oh, for sure. And the space station's cool as hell too.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, the style of it is definitely interesting. Like, there's even like a little bit of like BioShock like styling to it in a way. Kind of like some things have like an old timey feel to them, you know?
Yep. The art style is fucking great, and everything. The product packaging and design and everything in the game.
Yeah.
And the humor hits you right off the bat as soon as you get to the ship, and it's like, this is your ship, the Unremarkable. Like, that's fucking funny, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like little hits.
Unreliable.
The
but
Unreliable,
whatever,
yeah.
Which
But-
is even funny.
Yeah, it's all the art's cool. There's all these posters and things you can collect in the game too that you bring back to your ship. You're like stealing them from other people, but you can like put them on your ship for like your crew,
Yeah.
stuff like that, and those are all really sweet.
Zach is saying my biggest problem with the Outer Worlds so far is that it's too easy. That's obviously super subjective.
It is too easy.
Everyone has said in well, not every, I shouldn't say everyone, but what I've read and in the one review I listened to on Kotaku Split Screen was crank up the difficulty.
Play it on hard.
Yeah.
I listened to that before I started, and I put it on hard, and hard's not hard enough.
Interesting.
So I might turn it up to the top.
Yeah.
And I still don't think it's going to be hard enough. But I do find that kind of weird because I didn't really focus on combat. Like my character is built to basically be able to talk out of any situation.
Yeah, and you can
And-
avoid any of the gunplay too between like
I do like the
towns.
gunplay, and I do use it still, but I don't really rely on it.
yeah, it's not a necessity.
Like there's complete encounters that I've already talked my way out of
Right.
and through, and I can literally like go in and steal something and say no, I wasn't doing anything, and then they believe me, like anytime, anywhere.
This was mine.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll just say like lie.
Yeah.
In brackets, like I'm lying. This.
See, and here's the thing. Here's what's great about this game. I agree with John in that it hasn't quite hooked me yet. So part of it is that I haven't played enough. I really only like just acquired Vicar Max as a character, and I'm excited to know more about him. But
He's interesting.
he feels very much like a shepherd book to me that doesn't give a fuck about his job actually. So it's kind of like the Firefly stuff continues to apply, but this game is everything I wish Fallout 4 was. Take away all the base building.
Yeah.
Get
please.
rid of the like 4 dialogue choices on your PlayStation buttons. Give me talking to people. Let me talk to them and get out of what they want me to do or convince them to do something else. All of that felt like it was missing in Fallout 4.
Or just kill everybody.
Or just kill
I have
everybody,
tested
which
that.
is also...
I reverted my save. I'm not usually one to go back on things that I've done.
Yeah.
But I was playing one night,
And I murdered
And-
a whole village.
basically.
Felt great.
Well, I was playing one night, and I was having a hard time on the first planet deciding between the factions.
Okay.
Because
it's a really great choice
yeah,
that
they
put.
did such a good job making it so murky
Yeah.
and difficult to decide that I was like, okay, well, the corporation is a corporation, and they're basically, I mean, I don't feel like I'm really spoiling much, but everybody's basically like an indentured servant
Yeah.
to them. However, they are living like reasonably productive, okay lives, I suppose. And then there's the other faction that basically just decided they didn't want to work one day and wanted to be lazy pieces of shit and garden.
Fucking millennials, man.
Yeah. And they somehow think they're better than the people that work for a living,
Yeah.
and they want to just take all the power away from them and then leave them to rot. That's fucking bullshit. So I was like, screw this. And I killed the boss of the corporation. Then the whole town revolted on me, and I killed everybody in town. And it was too easy to do,
Yeah.
which is the real reason why I reverted the save.
But it
Or
also-
I probably would have just let it roll.
Doesn't it also like let you know like, okay, this quest is botched too. You can't like continue
No, but not
on.
much was.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
the thing. Like, I want to go back and play through this way, like a speed run, basically, where I just go through and decimate everything because it's so easy.
The other thing I want to do, I would want to come back and play because I made my dude a little bit too smart. Like I like having smart characters in these type of games.
Yeah.
But I've heard there are dumb dialogue options that are fucking hilarious. Like if you make your character unintelligent,
Like super dumb, but like very charismatic.
not even necessarily very charismatic, but like this is just what a dumb person would say in this situation.
Yeah.
If they were like either full of themselves or like they didn't understand
Well, that-
what you were talking about.
That's
and
where
that
I
type
think
of
this
thing.
game will shine is like some of the replay and like coming up with new
Yeah.
character
The-
archetypes and
The fact that it's not absurdly long, from what I understand, it can be fairly long if you do everything. But
Yeah.
it's not too long to to be able to play again.
Well, and you'll know like what quests you can just kind of avoid and not care about the second time through anyway.
I've played Mass Effect that way, although usually I end up doing most of the side shit over again anyways because I love everything in that game. But having the option to not do stuff is cool, and I'm probably gonna play through it again and just be dumb and smash everything and everyone and call it a day. See what happens. See how wildly different it can be.
It's awesome that this is on Game Pass. Like that's nuts to me. I'm sad that it's not like Play Anywhere. The fact that I can't just like load up my save on Xbox.
Yeah, I'm a little bummed about that because I wanted I wanted to just take the Xbox down to the living room and play down there, and because I've been playing with controller anyways. This isn't the kind of game I necessarily like with mouse and keyboard. I will say one of my gripes is that when you want to pick up something like the hover mechanic, you have to be like pinpointed on the object a little more so than I think I'm used to, which is a little bit of a bummer, especially if you're playing with controller. With mouse, it's not a problem. But I was super bummed that I couldn't just like cross save it over to my Xbox and bring that downstairs in the living room and play there.
Can you stream it through your Xbox, or does that work only one way right now?
I think that's only one way, but I did not look at I meant to look
because I know like you can stream
your PC
your
to
Xbox
your TV. Like I think you can do both, but I don't know that you can legitimately play games on your PC through that stream. I think you can show like video and do other programs and shit, but
there might be a way to finagle running the process through Steam too, and then use the Steam Link.
That's what I tried to do. I tried to use my PlayStation controller on my Apple TV with Steam Link to play the game, but for some reason you have to use a third-party program to add the game to Steam because number one, it's a UWP game, like the Windows.
Yeah.
But also number two, if you don't do that, then it won't. Like there's something about controller support that needs to happen as well. Otherwise, it won't work, and I could not get it to work. But I didn't try very hard because I've been sick. So it might actually work and be okay, but we'll have to try something else. So. No, I think it's a cool game. I really want to play more of it.
Especially talking about it. I want to get back to it.
Death Stranding's out on Friday, and I'm certainly going to pick that up. And Jedi Fallen Order's out like in a couple weeks as well. So there's
15th.
a lot of and Pokemon comes out like that's pretty soon as well.
This is like a super jam-packed like pre-Christmas like crunch.
Yep.
That's happening.
Modern Warfare just came out.
Yeah.
Man, yeah.
So there's a lot to play. Maybe we can divide and conquer and figure out exactly what. Unless you guys.
The problem is I want to play.
I want to play all of that shit.
After reading the Kotaku article, the review of Death Stranding, I now want to play it. After I had seen other reviews and was like, this game sounds awful, and then I read the Kotaku one and I was like, this game sounds awesome. So
maybe sorry Nicole, I'm bringing the PlayStation on our honeymoon.
There you go.
I'm gonna play Death Stranding in Jamaica. No, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, I want to play that.
I might play Pokemon on the beach in Jamaica. That might be okay.
Pokemon would be cool, I think. I'm not sure, man. There's just so many games.
There's a lot.
And then again, I want to play more of this to try and figure out where the hooks sink in. I don't know. A lot of it is the characters in this game. Like I really like I like Parvati a lot. I think she's just like again, whoever plays her is just on point, like nailing it. Like all of her inflection and everything through all of her dialogue is just perfect. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, I want to play more of this for sure. But I'll probably pick up at least one of the Pokemon games, and then I do want to get Luigi's Mansion. There's so many games, man.
You should
that
see
on the wayside
if they got it at the video store. You can pick it up, rent it, play a little bit. I am a little disappointed there isn't any VATS. Like I know the tactical time dilation stuff is cool, but I do also really love VATS.
Well, they have to give you a reason to play Fallout games,
I guess, but at this point, I'm not going to.
Yeah, I mean, if they came out, if Obsidian just kept making these, I will never play another Bethesda game ever again.
I'm at the point right now where I don't like Fallout 4, and that also leads me to not like Fallout 76, where I don't know. Like Fallout 5 is a question mark for me. I'd have to see what it. I don't even know about Starfield at this point. If Starfield is literally just No Man's Sky with like galactic base building and shit, I don't care about that. I don't want to do that.
Similar to the Outer Worlds, but less polished. And
Maybe lots more bugs, probably.
Yes.
That's entirely possible. But like the weird thing is that they're kind of like by getting into this whole base building bullshit that I don't care about. It's really disenfranchising me from what I love about Fallout games and Bethesda games in general. So if Obsidian just decides to keep making awesome versions of these games, then like John said, I don't know that I have to care about whatever Bethesda's
especially
doing.
like I mean, clearly their engine is way better. Like,
well, wait, maybe
it's not
the
20
Unreal
years old.
Engine.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's better.
maybe they spent more time on it and they made it more like it's been a more focused game anyway, and they have things segmented off, like it's easier to QA and whatnot. But these are all smart choices that they made, and for some reason Bethesda hasn't made those choices in 15 years. So it's, I don't know. It'll be. It's nice that Obsidian exists to do these types of things, and Bethesda's also out there doing whatever they want to do, because I know there's people out there that love Fallout 4 and Fallout 76, but that's not me, and I'm sad about it.
yeah.
So,
We've had a pretty interesting chat.
yeah, there's a
see.
lot of talking going on in there. I know Gladish wants us to play some Death Stranding on stream, so I'll try to do that when it comes out. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
I feel like I'm more interested in watching that game than I am playing it.
Oh, well, good news. If you tried to play it, you'd probably mostly be watching it anyway, because it's a Hideo
Exactly.
Kojima game. So
I'm also disappointed. I heard that it doesn't really resolve or whatever, or it's disappointing.
that seemed a lot more. So you listen to the Giant Bomb stuff, which is what I
did.
listen to as well.
I mean, I listen to that, and I do listen to Split Screen.
The
from time to time.
Kotaku review that Heather Alexandra did seems so much more in tune with what Kojima wants the game to be, that I feel like in reality I will be somewhere in between those two, but I'm interested to check it out. I think it'll be a fun experiment and look into the mind of Hideo Kojima, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. All right. If you want to follow us on social media or see all the places you can listen to or watch the show, check out MidwestGameNerds.com/links. The Midwest Podcast Network now has a Patreon. The Patreon is meant to benefit all the shows on the network. You can subscribe for as little as $1 a month and help keep our shows alive and well. Check it out at mpn.bz/Patreon. Thanks again to JCK and Gojo for their contributions. As always, we do appreciate your feedback, which you can send to MidwestGameNerds@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow us on Twitch, as well as rate and review us on your favorite podcatcher. We are Twitch affiliates. Please feel free to subscribe. You can do so with your Amazon Prime free subscription if you have one, or for $5 or whatever for the smallest subscription size. That's cool too. Yeah, we really appreciate everybody who jumped in the chat this time.
Yeah, Zach, Gladish, Corey, please, thank you for checking out our stream right now. Nostradamus, if you're still in there, awesome to have you with us. And I think there was another person, Zenueska.
Yeah, at the very top there.
Yeah,
And
so-
Black Space Mirror.
Yes, Black Space Mirror as well. Thank you guys for watching, and we appreciate it.
Yeah, so we will. When's next one?
Next
2
one's
weeks.
probably going to be on November 17th. That's your birthday.
Yep.
So special birthday episode, or maybe we'll do the 16th or something. But
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
yeah, so probably mostly Death Stranding, maybe some Jedi Fallen Order if I can peel myself away from the crying that apparently happens in Death Stranding.
Yeah. We'll see.
All right.
Anyways, thanks again, everybody, for listening, and we'll see you next time. Peace.